You walk into a room, and before a single word is spoken, you already know. You know who is angry. You know which two people had a fight in the car on the way over. You know the host is smiling, but something is wrong, and you know it a few seconds before anyone else in the room has any idea. People call this a gift. They call you intuitive, perceptive, an old soul, wise beyond your years. But here is the part nobody says out loud. You did not earn this in a classroom. You did not meditate your way to it. You got it the way you get a callus, by being rubbed raw in the same spot over and over until the skin grew back harder. There is a name floating around for this now. People are calling it traumatic intelligence, the rarest, most powerful kind of smart. And that framing is only half true, because the same thing that looks like a superpower from the outside is, on the inside, the most exhausting thing a human nervous system can do. So today, you're going to see what this actually is, where it really comes from, why it feels like a gift and a curse at the same time, and at the end, the part every other version of this story leaves out, what you're supposed to do with it. First, let us kill the magical version. This is not a sixth sense. It is not the universe whispering to you. It is pattern recognition, trained the hard way. Here is what the science actually shows. At the University of Wisconsin, a psychologist named Seth Pollack studied children who grew up in homes with violence. He showed them faces that slowly shifted from one emotion into another, and he measured how much anger a face needed to show before the child called it angry. A child from a safe home needed a face that was clearly, unmistakably angry before they would label it anger. But the children from violent homes caught it far sooner, a face that was almost neutral, only just beginning to tense toward anger, and they saw it instantly. Their brains had moved the threshold. They locked onto anger faster, and they could not look away. Think about what that means. In a dangerous house, that is not a flaw. That is survival. If the difference between a calm evening and a terrifying one is one flicker across one face, then the child who reads that flicker early gets to brace or hide or disappear in time. That detector did not come built in. It got built, neuron, by an environment that demanded it. The amygdala, the small alarm bell deep in your brain, grew more sensitive. The circuits that read faces and voices got faster. You became, without ever choosing it, a full-time student of human danger. That is traumatic intelligence in one sentence. A survival system that got so good at its job, it started to look like genius. But this did not start with you. It is far older than your childhood. Picture a tribe 40,000 years ago. 30 people sleeping in the open under a sky full of things that want to eat them. That tribe does not survive on the strong alone. It survives because of one specific person. The one who wakes at the snap of a twig, the one who cannot fully relax even at the fire, who keeps watching the tree line while everyone else laughs, the one who feels the mood of the group shift and knows, before it boils over, that two hunters are about to fight. The Sentinel, the watcher, the one whose nervous system is tuned always to what is wrong. That person is tired. That person does not sleep well, and that person is the reason everyone else gets to. Evolution kept that wiring because it works. A group needs someone running threat detection at all times. So when you walk into a room and feel the danger nobody else feels, you're not broken. You're running an ancient program. You are the Sentinel. The only difference is that your tree line is not full of predators anymore. It is full of moods and tones of voice and the silence after a sentence that landed wrong. So let us go through the 7 signs, but not the flattering version. For every sign, you get the gift and the bill that comes with it. Sign 1. You read a room before anyone speaks. You sense conflict early. You adjust before things go bad. The bill is that you cannot turn it off. You read strangers in a grocery store you will never see again. You carry home tension that was never yours. Sign 2. You feel what people hide. Someone says they are fine, and you feel the lie in your own chest. People tell you their problems, even strangers, because something in your face says it is safe here. The gift is real empathy. The bill is that you become the unpaid therapist who fixes the whole room and nobody fixes you back. Sign 3. You go calm when everyone else panics. A crisis hits, and while others freeze, you drop into a cold, clear, strategic gear. Here is the uncomfortable truth. You are not calm because you're brave. You are calm because chaos feels like home. Your nervous system was built in emergencies. So an emergency is just an ordinary day, and there's real science here. At Stanford, researchers found that young animals exposed to moderate, survivable stress grew up calmer under pressure, more curious, with stronger control circuits in the brain. They called it stress inoculation. A small dose of hardship, survived, builds the armor. Hold on to that word. Moderate. It changes everything later. Sign 4. You analyze people compulsively. You replay conversations at 2 in the morning. You build whole psychological models of people you met once. The gift is genuine insight. The bill is that you can never just be in a moment. You are always one step back, watching, predicting, like a security guard staring at a monitor inside your own life. Sign 5. You trust slowly but deeply. Your guard is higher than other people's. This is not cynicism. Your brain learned early that not every smile was safe, so it built filters. The cost is that closeness takes you longer, but the people who make it through that filter get a loyalty most people never give anyone. Sign 6. You rely on no one. You learned that help was unreliable, so you became the most self-sufficient person you know. You solve it yourself, quietly, before anyone notices there was a problem. People admire it, but underneath it is not always strength. Sometimes it is a wound that learned to walk. Sign 7. You feel everything too intensely. Music hits harder. Injustice sits in your body like a physical weight, and here is the strange part that almost nobody admits. You can be the warmest person in the room, genuinely lighting it up, and walk out the door with a quiet disdain for people that surprises even you. You love being around them and you cannot stand them both at once. A crowd drains you because you're processing 40 people's emotions at the same time with no off switch. And so often the only time you feel truly calm is late at night when the world is asleep and there is finally no one left to read. Now, here is where every other version of this story stops. They give you the 7 signs, they tell you that you are special, and they roll the credits. But you already know the truth because you live it. And it comes down to one word that real people say again and again: exhausting. So let us talk about the bill that comes due. Remember that word moderate? The research found something crucial. The armor only forms at a moderate dose of early stress. Too little and nothing toughens. But too much, severe and constant, does not build a stronger brain. It builds a damaged one. The dose makes the medicine past a certain point. It stops being medicine and becomes poison. This is the honest part nobody wants to say. Traumatic intelligence is not proof that your suffering was good for you. It is proof that you adapted to survive it. Here is the mechanism. The Sentinel was supposed to stand watch during the danger. But your alarm never got the message that the danger is over. The house you grew up in is gone. The threat is 20 years in the past, and you are still at the tree line, scanning, reading every face for the anger that taught you to read faces in the first place. There is even a name for the wear this leaves on the body. Scientists call it allostatic load, the slow, measurable cost of a stress system that never powers down. A threat detector that never rests does not just make you tired, it burns the wiring. People like this are the ones employers love. Endlessly capable, calm in every fire, never need managing. Right up until the day they do not explode. They quietly collapse. And the alarm does more than exhaust you. It starts to lie. Studies show that a brain trained on threat gets faster at spotting anger, but worse at reading calm. It starts to label neutral faces as hostile. The flat tone of a tired cashier becomes a threat. A friend who takes a few hours to reply becomes abandonment. The very skill that kept you safe begins firing at shadows. So no, it is not simply a gift. And if anyone ever made you feel you should be grateful for the thing quietly draining the life out of you, you do not owe that gratitude to anyone. Which brings you to the only question that matters. What do you do with it? The good news is real. The same brain that built this alarm can learn a new setting. The goal was never to delete the skill. The skill is valuable. The goal is to take it off automatic and put it back in your hands. 3 things. First, learn which alarms no longer deserve you. Healing is not going numb. It is resorting the mail, catching the old alarm, naming it, and saying, that one is expired. The cashier is not your father's footsteps. The tree line is empty now. Second, give the Sentinel an actual off shift. A long, slow exhale is the one manual override you have on the alarm. So is real safety with one trusted person. You do not have to relax with everyone. You need one room, 1 hour, where the radar is allowed to go dark. The watcher who finally sleeps does not lose the skill. They just stop dying from it. Third, find the others. The loneliest part of this is believing no one else lives behind the same glass. But there are millions of you. The moment you find even one other sentinel, someone who reads the room the way you do and gets just as tired from it, the isolation starts to lift. So here's where you land. You were not born wise. You were a child whose brain did the most extraordinary thing a brain can do. It studied a dangerous world and got good at surviving it. That is not a diagnosis. It is not a gift from the stars. It is adaptation. The oldest survival program our species has, running in a body that is finally safe enough to ask whether it still needs to run. You are not too sensitive. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are a sentinel who has been on watch for far too long, and the bravest thing you will ever do is decide, on purpose, when it is finally safe to come in from the cold and rest. The skill stays. The exhaustion does not have to.